Oh, sorry, folks. We're just finishing up our Texas Roadhouse food. Welcome to the R&D show.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the R&D show. We're going to give it, we always talked about how
we always have a technical blooper
glitch,
that happens right whenever we start.
And everybody talks about, I remember a while back, I was kind of like, why do people, they'll start the live, and then they sit there.
They wait.
Doing this.
It's because they're waiting for something to go wrong.
And I always was just kind of like, that is the weirdest thing. Why do people sit there and not do anything? And I thought, after
a few episodes, we're starting to realize that maybe nobody can see us.
There's a reason.
Don't know. Or maybe they can't hear us.
We're just gonna finish our Texas Roadhouse. You go ahead and do whatever you need.
And why are we eating Texas Roadhouse? Well, if you saw Rob and I on Facebook or Instagram or whatever else this week, you know that was because Texas Roadhouse is actually donating money, a percentage of your bill, back to Voices Against Cancer whenever you order tonight only. What does it go till?
Till 10 p.m.
Till 10 p.m.
Yep.
So you still have time. If you're watching this episode, I'm not saying that you should stop watching our episode because honestly, we really love to see you here. But you can head over to the restaurant, get some food, even to go, or you can sit and pull up our episode in the restaurant and just make it awkward for everybody. You can wear your PJs because it is a bedtime episode, a special Goodnight episode with our very special guest, dear friend, Colleen O'Shaughnessey. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because she's the voice of Tails, the two-tailed fox. Her real name is Miles Prowse. Miles Prower. I don't know why I said that. And on Sonic the Hedgehog. So if you've ever seen that movie, she's been in. Now I think she was her voice in the first movie. Now I'm wondering actually, but it was definitely in the second film, and she's pretty much stole the show.
She is Tails. I mean,
yes, she is Tails, and she's Tails on pretty much everything you've seen. So,
oh yeah, and she's such a sweet person, and friend as well as friends to kids going through cancer treatment.
Yeah, truthfully, not only was she a part of the very first Voices Against Cancer convention here in Sioux Falls, which that's when we all got to know her. And but since that time, she's been a part of some really cool secret missions to sort of make the day of and surprise some kids going through cancer treatment. And that's one of the reasons we love her. So, and
she's done a couple of those little
there's been
secret
a few
ninja giving things.
I don't know if all those stories are public, but we definitely have some great I have some fond memories of taking Colleen into patients' rooms and surprising people. So it's been a wonderful thing to know this gal. And she, surprise, is here to do something fun with us. So I think one of the things we got to talk about before we reveal the surprise is, we have lots of stories about the good things she's done. She's about to do something really fun for our community here on this show. But one of the reasons this show exists and one of the reasons we're doing this episode tonight is because we're closing down Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. The end of September signals the end of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. It's a month where it's a very special time for us to share about the hard things that this community goes through. Many of the families, you guys that watch our show, have to face when you're going through cancer treatment. And so one of the reasons that our show exists at all is to tell as many people as possible about those hard things and to discuss kind of what cancer can bring to a child's world. So that's why we exist. We're here to create awareness. In my opinion, awareness is the first link in the chain that leads to cures. And we are all about trying to cure things. Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is great for raising awareness and allowing people to know the difference they can make in their community for the kids that are facing cancer. So, but cancer chases everything.
Oh, it's when you talk about lifestyle changes, and normal, there is no such thing as normalcy when you get talking about childhood cancer, and we kind of do our theme here with Goodnight Tails and
PJs. That's why we're in PJs.
That's why we're in our Goodnight Tails. We've got we got other stuff here.
Yep.
But to kind of go along with that theme, we want to try and educate people too about something that, for you, Dan, what's your normal bedtime routine?
Well, obviously you go up to the roof, let out the monkeys, you got to open the fridge door, all that stuff. That's stuff that I do normally every night before I go to bed, go out and scream at the moon.
Feed the hogs.
Feed the hogs,
do your homework, all that stuff.
If, definitely a lot of families encounter a totally different kind of bedtime routine, although mine sounds pretty whacked out. But whenever they go into the hospital, it's a whole different world. You got your flushing lines and you're saying goodnights over the phone to family. And that's the stuff that I witness when I'm at the hospital working with these families. You certainly have to get comfortable in weird hospital beds, and you've got that annoying Carl, the IV pole. Nobody likes that guy, and he beeps all night long at you. And so I guess, do you remember the kinds of things that you encountered whenever you were staying in the hospital overnight with your son?
So yeah, when we were going through, whether it was regular chemotherapy treatment where you had to stay inpatient, it could be for a follow-up. When you are going through cancer treatment, you have to monitor your child for fevers. And anytime they hit that magic number of 100.4 or 100.2, then you are required to bring them in. Maybe they need hydration because of everything that they're going through and the side effects with that. It could be the bone marrow transplants and the stem cell transplants that some kids have to go through. All of that changes your nightly routine. And so just wanted to take a couple minutes here, and I reached out to a couple of our honored families as well to kind of get their input too as to what a normal, simple bedtime routine is for a kid at the hospital. And so I brought some props too.
Let's do it.
So
do it. Show and tell.
Show and tell. So for our normal bedtime routine in the hospital, a puke bag.
Yeah.
And you always want to have one of these little tiny things handy, because whether they're in bed, sitting up, having to go for a walk, whatever, nausea can come on.
It comes out
real quick,
out of nowhere.
And so you have to have your puke bag. And depending if you can even have it, a heating pad or an ice pack, because when you have your chemo and all of that nasty medicine going through you, you get your hot flashes, you get your cold flashes. Then if you do have an ice pack or a heating pad on there, you have to be careful, because your skin's so sensitive that what normally would be fine for us could burn the child's skin, either because of too cold or too hot. So then we've got that. So you have that side. Water, Gatorade, whatever you're allowed. This is Gatorade.
Yeah, red Gatorade, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, see, sometimes you got to be careful, and you can have every color but red.
Yep.
Because if you're looking for blood in the urine or anything else, so you might be able to have Gatorade if you're lucky, but not red. Let's see here. We got to bring extra toothbrushes. And some of them in the hospital, they actually make you do a very, very soft bristle, because whether
you want gums,
your gums and the gum disease, your teeth, and a lot of gum sensitivity, and whether it's a transplant that you've gone through or just different chemo, a lot of drugs will affect your gums differently. Yeah. So not only is it that, it might be some special toothpaste that you have to do that, and you don't get a choice. A lot of times the kids are like, I'm too tired, You don't get a choice with that. And then, of course, the magical thermometer that you don't go anywhere without, because even in and out of the hospital, feeling cold, you feeling hot, you have to bring that with too. For so many,
a special
weighted blanket. Yeah. And this one is designed to help with anxiety. So if the kids are too anxious and different things, this can help calm them. They're also really good when it's cold in the room. Oh my gosh, these are so thick. So you got this, our comfy jammies, which, we've got those on. And a lot of times the kids will have a very special or a specific one that they want to bring with. And a lot of times it's because of the skin sensitivity. A lot of hospitals are really great at letting you bring your own pajamas and your own sheets and different things like that. For kids in the hospital, though, we think of just the quick and easy, but a lot of times they have to be a special style of a shirt, so it's easy to access their port, or if they do have accidents or throw up, different things like that. So even just picking out something as simple as comfy jammies can be a tough decision for a child going through cancer in the hospital. We also have
the crazy thing about this, all this stuff has to fit into like one bag, and it's like ready to go in case something happens too. It's not really like you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to pack it now. No, you've usually got to go. So it's kind of sits around with a lot of things in it.
A lot of the different stuff. Yep. And you want to make sure you have it just in case, because maybe it's 3 a.m. and they're replenishing the supplies. For us, it was things such as, central line, when you have to flush a central line, and making sure that you have wipes, a sleep mask. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Little Mickey Mouse sleep mask, but you have to have a sleep mask because the lights are on from the hallway, the bleep 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 from Carl.
And you're connected to an IV pole and getting medicine. Sometimes you're getting your blood pressure monitored very frequently. So bedtime routine might mean you can't even make it to the bathroom. So I was going to bring in a urinal, but somebody decided to use it. No, we're good. But yeah, no, every family who's ever been in the hospital pretty much knows what those little urinal jugs are.
Yep. And that was honored family dad Joseph had brought that up. He had said, nothing like extra trips to the bathroom because of the steroids and everything else. And so if there's a bedside urinal, a lot of times, and this is sad because the kids they'll wake up from a dead sleep and they'll be like, I gotta go.
Gotta go right then.
And so they have to try and prevent those accidents. Yeah. We also eat for lotion.
Yep.
And with this one, this was a specific kind of lotion that was created by 2 dermatologists from the Mayo Clinic. That's specifically for people going through cancer treatment, different things. So it's easier on the skin, different things like that. Another honored mom, Lori, had said, "Where's my fan? Yeah. Because the temperatures get so dramatic."
Blow that into my pajamas.
I don't have it plugged in. Sorry. And so there's that one to kind of also use it almost as sound, to try and drown out some of those beeps and the noises of the nurses and different things like that. She also said a CD player or
if you can find one, because I don't think those exist anymore.
I was going to say, for some they bring their own.
Actually, we have them in the hospital rooms.
Do you have some?
Yeah, they're still in the hospital rooms.
Honored family Paula, she had said a sound machine because a lot of them have those small little sound machines, so you can get the white noise or the different things and whatever the kids are able to.
You stick the Amiibo on the top and then it plays you Adele or something like that. Those are nice. I like that. Those are my favorite.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, you should work in a hospital with me.
Well, that's
I see it all the time.
We still got some
pole socks in there.
We got so for some that are able, because some you can't take a shower, and so you have to do literally like wet wipes. And you have to literally just wipe down because of the central line or the port access or different things like that. And so for some they can, but it has to be a special soap. And for others, it's literally just a sponge bath. So we got those. We've got the eye relief and nose spray. I mean, and these are for 8, 9, 10-year-old kids.
This is like a 90-year-old medicine cabinet. Like
this is when you're doing the you're sitting there. I gotta put my dry
I can't find my nasal spray. Exactly. So
we should have to worry about it, not the kids. And then the good old Tegaderm.
Yeah.
And
if you're going to get anything wet, you got to have Tegaderm.
You have to have the Tegaderm.
If you're about to have a port access, throw the Tegaderm over.
Yep. Or if you're out of Tegaderm, I didn't bring it, but a little and something else I forgot.
But Press and Seal.
The Press and Seal. Yep. Press and Seal. We kept them in stock because of that. And then you have this little adhesive remover because a lot of the times the kids hate getting stuff ripped off to begin with, and then you have your sensitive skin and everything else. So then you have your adhesive remover.
Nothing brings out a rash on a patient's skin like just trying to remove the adhesive that was there. It's been there for days.
The beep 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 pulse ox, blood pressure medication. This can be for the kids and the parents because a lot of times the parents end up stressing
after
out too.
Carl beeps for the 3rd time and it's 2 a.m. Yeah, you need the blood. You're like, I think I need my blood.
It's either take that or literally throw Carl out the door. Gloves because
you can't handle. Well, there's certain things. If you're getting certain chemo, you gotta the cleanup requires a parent to wear gloves. Without going into too much detail.
Ian and I would always joke. There was a guy from Colorado, Woody was his name, and he was a 4-time cancer survivor. He's motivational speaker now today and all that stuff. Wonderful story and stuff. But I still remember that one of his favorite lines and I'd be putting gloves on her when the nurses come and they're all garbed up. And Ian would say, I'm really glad that you guys are protecting yourself from the poison you're putting inside me. And I'm just like, that's true, buddy. That's true. So yeah, I mean, we've got, and then this is Zofran to help. And
anti-nausea. Yeah. Like, boy.
One of the moms had a good point too. She's just kind of like, we bring in snacks for our kids because when they do the flushes,
you put
there's
something
a nasty
in your mouth.
taste.
Yeah.
That was something else. Ian would always take the line from Iron Man. He goes, tastes like root beer and metal.
Root beer and metal.
And so trying to make lighthearted things like that. And so I'm earplugs. Another mom said earplugs to also drown out the noise. And a lot of times that's for the kids because the parents, it's just like, I'm going to put on my noise canceling headphones. Well, we can't, because then we can't hear our child if they need something. So when we talk about this, and I think I've rambled for quite a while, but we just kind of want to, again, educate and inform folks that the world of childhood cancer is something that a lot of people don't understand. And a lot of parents have said throughout the month that childhood cancer is only rare until it happens to you. Yep. And so even just a simple nighttime routine that we take for granted can be one that takes 25, 30 minutes, and I still have a couple of things that I still haven't shown. And that's just for the kids.
Honestly, if there's something that we didn't mention and you're one of those folks that knows, comment it below. We need to educate the community. As a person who I work with kids with cancer, but I see the stuff you guys have to go through. I think it's good for people who never walk in this world, who would never be able to access it the way that some of you do. It's good for people to know what goes on in your world. And I would say it's great that every family kind of figures out their own bedtime hack. But, there's a lot of folks that never quite understand or grasp the fact that so much goes on just to go to bed in a normal, like to make something normal in the midst of facing cancer. But if you find a hack that works for you, hey, share it in our comments or throw something else down there. Hey, by the way, if you have a favorite food or a snack, if your child has a favorite food or snack that they put in their mouth during flushes, tell me what that is, because I'm curious about what they are. There's a few that pop into my head, but I don't want to ruin it. I would love if people comment. I was going to say,
have them comment and let us know.
So maybe you have your bedtime hack involves like a favorite movie or a favorite story. And maybe that's the only way you get to bed. Well, I think we have good news for you tonight.
Yes.
Our special guest is actually going to bring in a couple of stories. And if you're bedding down or if you're about to bed down, maybe this is the perfect time for y'all to get relaxed and enjoy, let's say, Auntie Colleen. Auntie Colleen's going to read us a little good night story. So that's the special surprise, folks. Also, we do have some giveaways. Do we want to do a comment for that? Should we do a comment? Okay, we're gonna do a comment. It's a comment that we're gonna ask Colleen in just a minute, but because it's a question from a patient. But I'd like for you to, if you want to comment below, if you had a tail that had a special power, what would you want your tail to do? And you can put that in the comments, and anybody who comments on that will be entered. I got to win something that Colleen may recognize.
Provided by
she signed it.
Our guest herself.
Yep. So
autograph.
Sonic 2 signed by the lady and signed by Ben Schwartz as well. So Sonic and Tails have signed this thing in their respective colors. I'm telling you, people, that's awesome. So, but before we go, so this is going to be a new segment, and we'd love to have Colleen on more than once if we don't ruin it this time. So I'm really excited to have her here. But grab your blanket, grab your pillow, because tonight Auntie Colleen's going to read us a story during a brand new segment that we're going to call Goodnight Tails. And here she is.
Hi.
What's up? So glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Nice PJs.
I got my Mickey PJs on.
We're all within the same brand, basically.
I was just gonna say we're all.
I didn't have Star Wars, but I have.
That's
Disney.
okay, but yeah, we're still Disney. So
I was just gonna say Mickey is right. Yeah.
I like
right
it.
there
Did
with
you,
it.
you'll notice that your head gets to be about 1,000 degrees while your hood is up. Like,
Yes,
hey,
I have to take it off. It's a
yeah,
little
well,
too
we'll
warm.
go for very
I was gonna say, I think yours is a little bit thicker than
It is, actually. Yours-
Chewy here.
Yeah,
if you
we're
get
not
stuck out-
quite at cozy weather yet in California.
Yeah, if you get stuck outside,
Not as hot as Texas, but it's still pretty warm.
I was gonna say, what is it? A breezy 90?
No, here it's like we're like in the low 80s or upper
wow.
70s. It's
Oh,
actually
that's
kind
nice.
of perfect, but
If
not
you'd
ready.
like to experience fall, it's already happening full swing here.
Yeah,
We're pretty
we've
much
been
getting
super lucky.
cold. I don't know. Lucky's not the right word because I know it's coming. Fall
Yeah.
is just the Sunday night of seasons. We know what's coming.
True. I think it's supposed to be warm this weekend, but anyway.
So hey, let's ask some questions here. Do you
Okay.
do you have a minute for a couple questions?
Absolutely.
So some things that were talked about. A patient of mine asked me if I would ask you today, what did it feel like whenever you found the voice of Tails, when you did the voice of Tails?
Oh gosh, what did it feel like? It's always a little bit magical. I'm so lucky to get to do what I do, and it's a very collaborative thing. So when I auditioned, I didn't know a lot about who had voiced Tails before, which is for me a good thing because then I would have been like, do they want it like that? Do they do they want to go somewhere else? Like, so it's good for me just to go in knowing nothing, which is what I did.
Yeah.
So I went in with my, often they'll give you a picture. I don't remember if they gave me a picture of Tails at that point or not, but anyway, they give you a description. And so I just went in with what my idea, and they sent me a callback, which was awesome. And I went in and, when you go in for the callback, they give you notes and whatever. And so then, he evolved over time, I think. I'm guessing if you listen to like the first episode of Sonic Boom and then listen to the movie, he probably is similar, but he's definitely grown over time. And he's just such a special little dude. I love him. Yeah.
I think every character does that if you go from season 1 of something to the
Yeah, and I think with the collaboration with the director and the writers and your fellow castmates, because like with Sonic Boom, we got to do it all together, which was amazing. It's actually ridiculous that we got it recorded because we were laughing so much. But
I was gonna say that's pretty rare, isn't it? A lot of the voiceovers are not at the same time, right?
Yeah, it just depends. And even before COVID, they were kind of pumping the brakes on that. Like I worked on a show called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and it was an original animation, and we absolutely all could have been in the same room together, but we went in one at a time. So to have those moments when you get to be there with your cast members is it's the best. It's so great.
So
but with video games and other things, you're by yourself always.
You're by yourself.
Yeah.
So you did. I didn't know you worked on To Give a Mouse a Cookie. I've seen a bunch of that.
Yeah, I'm the mom, so I come in like 1 or 2 lines at the beginning, and maybe 1 or 3 or 4 at the end, and so. Mom doesn't.
On a gold mine. You could have been a character on there easy.
Well, we've got that whole series. We could, there we go. Now we have Goodnight Tails episode 2.
We can show them what they would have missed.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see. And the question about the tail. If you had a tail, or more than one, and it had a superpower, what would you want that superpower to be?
I am torn between 2 things. Ooh. Like I either wanted to clean my house, which would be awesome, or teleportation would be just amazing.
That's really good.
I want to be transported wherever I need to go, like that.
Yep. Aruba.
Yeah. Think of the tail, because 2 tails.
Yeah.
Cool. Go in different directions and do the whole circle portal. Yeah.
Like a Doctor Strange thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Like a Doctor Strange portal dealio for sure.
Sonic 3.
Rob,
what do you think? Do you have a tail that's with a superpower kind of notion?
I've thought about that, and I'm just like, wow. Flying, it's lame, but I'm just like, flying would be so cool. But yeah. I don't know if I'd want to like teleport or time travel.
Ooh.
Oh,
it's different. Do you
Time travel's messy, man.
do you
space time
through time?
Ooh. Well, what if you did? So maybe it was like a 15-second loop or something. Be like, you can't go way back in time, but it's a chance to fix one mistake. As a Star Trek fan, I was all over that. But yeah. Let's see. I don't have one. I honestly don't. I'm not sure. I've always wanted to go fast, so maybe if mine could make me teleport or like to go super speed, that'd be pretty. Like a jet, like a jet. Yeah, I would be okay with that. Flying, honestly, would be super cool too. But yeah, I would take super speed over flying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would. I don't know.
So basically, you like Sonic better than Tails, is what you're saying.
But Tails' personality has always
Ouchie.
been more my thing. Yeah, I've definitely like I'm not a corn dog or I'm sorry, a chili dog eater. So like and Sonic is always kind of like he's the id character on that show. Tails is more grounded, and I always like that. Maybe it's just because I like his voice. I don't know. But well, speaking of that. I don't want to deprive our viewers of your wonderful voice and reading bedtime stories. So if you guys are all ready, you know what? We should read this comment though. It's kind of funny.
One of our honored families. Go ahead.
Yeah, they said they want their tail to be a butt copter.
Which is pretty much only Sonic the Hedgehog could come up with something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Give me one moment. I just realized I have a couple more. There was a couple more that I wrote down. These other questions that somebody had written. Here we are. Questions. It must have been here. No. Where are these questions? This must have been when we were planning it out. I don't remember. Well, one of them was.
We can look for it while.
Yeah, when do we do that? And maybe I'll read it at the end if you're okay with that. Hang out for a second at the end there, Colleen.
Sure.
But hey, let's go ahead and we'll start up. So we have 2 books we're going to read, and if you have them at home, you can run and grab them real quick. But we're going to do Yertle the Turtle by Theodore Geisel. Dr. Seuss. I love Dr. Seuss. And then we're going to do Goodnight Moon. So everybody knows Goodnight Moon. It came out in like the 1940s.
And it's like one of the most classic ones that parents love to read to kids because it's short. Go to bed.
Yep. And it's one of those
17 words. Done.
Yep, we should read it in a mid-Atlantic accent. So good night, Moon. We're gonna
good night,
okay.
Moon.
Well, let's get you up on stage, and we might even pop up. But let's see how we do here. So here it comes.
There's that one.
There we are. And let's see what it does when we do this. Oh, we're there still.
Yeah. You can take us off if you want.
Maybe we'll go out. If we remove our.
Oh, but then we can't. There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
we'll behave.
We're good. We'll just be good.
I think you're like way far into the book.
Are we way far down? Let's see. You're
there
right.
we
Oh, see, we were cheating. We were trying to read the story beforehand.
Look for the green water. My bad.
Spoilers. Ready?
Absolutely.
We're ready whenever you are.
Oh, my spectacles.
Good. Oh, very nice. Yes.
All right. Yertle the Turtle. On the faraway island of Salamasond, Yertle the Turtle was king of the pond. A nice little pond. It was clean. It was neat. The water was warm. There was plenty to eat. The turtles had everything turtles might need, and they were all happy. Quite happy indeed. They were, until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. I'm ruler, said Yertle, of all that I see, but I don't see enough. That's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on the places beyond. This throne that I sit on is too low down. It ought to be higher, he said with a frown. If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king, I'd be ruler of all that I see. So Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand, and Yertle the Turtle King gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone, and using these turtles, he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on another one's back, and he piled them all up in a 9-turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up. He sat down on the pile. What a wonderful view! He could see most a mile. All mine, Yertle cried. Oh, the things I now rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and what's more beyond that, I'm king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I'm Yertle the Turtle, oh, marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see. And all through that morning he sat there up high, saying over and over, a great king am I, until long about noon, then he heard a faint sigh. What's that? Snapped the king. And he looked down the stack, and he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac, just a part of his throne, and this plain little turtle looked up and he said, Beg your pardon, King Yertle,
I've pains in my back and my shoulders and knees. How long must we stand here, Your Majesty, please?
Silence! The king of the turtles barked back. I'm king, and you're only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house and a bush and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne shall be higher. His royal voice thundered. So pile up more turtles. I want about 200. Turtles, more turtles! He bellowed and brayed, and the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled, they shook, but they came, they obeyed. From all over the pond they came swimming by dozens, whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins, and all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another, they climbed up the stack. Then Yertle the turtle was perched up so high he could see 40 miles from his throne in the sky. Hooray! Shouted Yertle. I'm king of the trees, I'm king of the birds, and I'm king of the bees. I'm king of the butterflies, king of the air. Ah me, what a throne, what a wonderful chair. I'm Yertle the turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see. Then again, from below, in the great heavy stack, came a groan from that plain little turtle named Mac.
Your Majesty, please. I don't like to complain, but down here below, we are feeling great pain. I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. We turtles can't stand it. Our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We are starving,
groaned Mac.
You hush up your mouth,
howled the mighty King Yertle.
You've no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I rule from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, no nothing that's higher than me.
But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise up over his head in the darkening skies.
What's that?
Snorted Yertle.
Say, what is that thing that dares to be higher than Yertle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can and I will. I'll call some more turtles. I'll stack them to heaven. I need about 5,607.
But as Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand and started to order and give the command, that plain little turtle below in the stack, that plain little turtle whose name was just Mac, decided he'd taken enough, and he had. And that plain little lad got a little bit mad, and that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. He burped, and his burp shook the throne of the king. And Yertle the turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air and the birds and the bees, the king of a house and a cow and a mule, well, that was the end of the Turtle King's rule. For Yertle the king of all Salamazond fell off of his high throne and fell plunk in the pond. And today the great Yertle, that marvelous he, is king of the mud. That is all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles and maybe all creatures should be.
Yay! Oh, so good.
I love Yertle.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's way better when you do it. I don't know. But maybe it's because nobody personifies like those characters whenever they read to me. Like,
Right, exactly. It's just like
I love it. How's your voice? Do you need anything before we do Goodnight Moon?
I'm good. I'll have a sip.
I think we like your voice too. It's fantastic. Ooh, little sip. Okay. All right. We're gonna pull in. Okay, so if you've got Goodnight Moon, now's your chance. You can follow along with Miss Colleen. I feel like I should be rhyming things right now.
I was just gonna say it's like you put on the
yeah. There's a rhythm to my speech now.
Right, exactly. I cannot deny.
I'm rhyming. I do not know why.
Oh, all right.
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Goodnight Moon. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs.
and 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb, and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, "Hush." Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere.
There it is.
Yay!
Apparently
that was I think my kids first, both Ian and Cassandra loved and that was like the first Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
You know,
Find all the
that's how we
things,
could kind of extend it out a little bit longer, you know, and
Yeah, all mine would too. They'd look at the pictures and pick other stuff, and well, you didn't say goodnight to the curtains or
Yeah. Bookshelf and all.
whatever. Yeah, there's a
the
rug.
one was saying good night nobody.
Oh
And then they
yeah.
had to find nobody. I mean, you know,
Oh,
where you
That's where it derails. Yep.
it just goes, yeah, we had to come back to that one a lot.
We didn't find nobody. Yeah, for us it's complicated. We have complicated. I don't know. Have you read If I Built a Car?
No.
Maybe we should. I don't know if you're much of a car person, but that would be hilarious to have you read that one too. It's by Chris Van Dusen, and wrote it and illustrated. He's a very talented illustrator, but he clearly loves like old 1950s and 60s cars. But it's about a kid who designs his own car, and that's all the stuff that this car can do. It's kind of like if you ever drew a picture of your dream car or whatever, or like I used to draw dream sneakers whenever I was little, and that's what we would do. So like
and that's a thing now.
Yeah, like you have like rocket ships on your sneakers. Well, this kid builds a car, designs a car that's ridiculous. So maybe our next Goodnight Tails, maybe we can do that one. I don't know.
Okay.
I talked to Chris Van Dusen. I got it. That I've always wanted to reach out to the guy anyway. So. Well, thank you so much for being here. I never found the other questions.
Oh, okay.
They were a lot along the lines of, has anything weird ever happened? What's the weirdest thing you've ever had happen while recording your voice?
Yeah.
The weirdest thing that's ever happened. Gosh, I don't know. My brain's broken. Well, when we would record Sonic Boom, Cindy Robinson and I have a musical theater background.
Oh, nice.
So for whatever reason, we would get triggered by the same words, and we would start singing the same song in the same key. We would have harmony, we would have choreography, so we would stall. It was pretty, I mean, I don't know if that's weird, but it was pretty funny.
I think that's awesome. Like
I
wish you had a camera on you during
I
that.
know we should have been recording all of those sessions with a camera for sure.
Oh, it should have been a blooper reel.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then you've got Roger Craig Smith and Travis Willingham making fart noises and doing all the boy things over there, and we're like da 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 da. Yeah.
And the people that like the showrunners are like, how do we rein this in? Do we just
the director's just like like wrangling cats, seriously.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's what you want. Like if they're talented, that's what you're going to be doing. So like that's what your talent will be doing. The other one that I was you recorded some during COVID. You had to do something weird during recording too.
I did. That was kind of crazy. So my husband built me this fantastic space, but it took him a while. So for almost 2 full years, I was in my closet recording. It was crazy. I had my laptop balanced on my underwear drawer and and I had a microphone in the corner, and there was any number of things could go wrong. It was crazy. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a sound engineer, so I've learned a lot. So I had to buy this beautiful microphone and figure out how to hook it up. And seriously, I still don't touch it. There's like a little toggle switch.
Oh yeah. Yep.
See it back there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And it does all kinds of things, but I don't touch it. It's
Yep.
in
It's
record
working.
mode, and I don't know what
Can
else.
you hear me now? That's good
Yes.
enough, right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't need any more bells and whistles, and I have a preamp. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that word before I
You
started. So
it sounds really good. Like your sound is probably, I bet it's better than ours.
Oh, yeah.
By a long shot.
yeah. Well, the crazy thing was my closet was like already sounded great, and my husband just put like we hung some furniture blankets on one wall.
Mhm.
I put a rug on the floor. Luckily, we didn't have to do anything to the ceiling, but I have a lot of clothes, so that.
Oh, and can we see now? I don't know if you're not sure if everybody's seen them yet. Can we see your collection back there? Oh yes, look at all those multiple
Oh,
iterations.
I was just
My
gonna say,
squishmallow.
Oh wow, that's a very. I would stop feeding that Tails for a little while, maybe.
Oh,
I don't
He's
think
very fat.
he's still flying.
that is a
Have a
flush.
little-
Flush.
Very yes.
Somebody gave me this
He's
little
quite. He's ripped up.
car.
Yes.
Oh, is he like? Oh, this is from Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing.
Yeah,
It
is
looks
it from
like.
is it from racing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
but and you do
that,
when you do the video games. Do you do the voice for
You
Tails
can
in video
see my
games too? Is that
top
correct?
shelf.
Oh,
I've got a
wow.
bunch of
Wow.
there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was
the
gonna
pillow.
say that was one of the other things I was gonna mention earlier was the comfort items that the kids bring to the hospitals as well. And I saw one of those up on the on the shelf.
Yeah.
These are the best. These squishmallows. I don't know.
Oh, that's what those are.
That's
Yeah,
they're
this
really,
is a
really
squishmallow.
soft stuffed animals. They're-
Right.
So there's a lot of your stuffies floating around the children's hospital after you being here last year, and being at Voices. You made connections with lots of kids, one of whom I told you were going to be on tonight. She's very excited. But one of the things I was going to mention to you, with Voices, how did you come to find out about Voices Against Cancer? Can you talk about that for a little bit?
I think it maybe was Wally Wingert. Maybe recommended me. I'm not sure, but I found out through him, and then he, I think, talked to Josh, who then talked to. I mean, it was like a bunch of little,
Yeah.
phones. And as soon as my booking agent called and said, "Would you be interested?" I was like, "Of course, I would. I'd love to do something that's, giving back a little bit. Even, you guys have been so wonderful, and I love that." Whatever little bit that I was able to do, if that put a smile on somebody's face, then I'm really happy.
That little bit you did made a huge difference in the lives of so many kids, and the smiles were just so awesome and so wonderful. And so we could say that literally Ant-Man talked to the Wasp, and that's how they got hooked up.
Yep.
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
For those of you who don't understand that reference, we have a book for you to read. There's definitely Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they both signed it. So.
Yes.
But one thing, I'm going to go into one story here, and I just, as a way of saying thank you for being on tonight, I'm going to tell the viewers, but also you too, Colleen. I don't know if I communicated this a little bit with you, but back and forth as we planned this whole operation. But there was a point where I got to bring you into a room, a video of you anyway, to a patient of mine who, ever since I have known this patient, he has had Sonic bed sheets, pillowcase, and Sonic and Tails stuffies, some of which were very, very well loved. And this was from the time of his diagnosis. That was the stuff that was on his bed in the hospital. And then I suddenly got to bring him you, which he was like, "Who's that dark-haired lady doing that sound? That sounds exactly like Tails." Like
more than one honored kid has said, "That's Tails."
That's weird. I know, it's really weird. It shouldn't be coming out of this.
Right.
That's a boy.
It should be coming out of this.
Yes.
Yes. But the thing that happened there was mind-boggling to me, because this kid was completely engrossed. And when a kid puts down a tablet to watch a video, that's a big deal. Or to look at anything, putting down a tablet. But it was gone, and he was just dialed in the whole time. And he was like, "Dad, it's Tails," and everything. And we looked up, and the dad just had his hands like this, and he was wiping away tears. And he was like, he said, "PT Dan, how did she know?" And I said, I was like, I said, I said, she's a friend of a friend, something like that. I said, she's a friend. And he's like, how did she know that this has been the worst month ever, the hardest month ever?
Yeah.
And he's like, I just can't believe it. And he was wiping his tears away still. And we watched his son just kind of go about playing, but he was asking if he could have the video and all this stuff. And he was showing me different Sonic things. And the dad just kept shaking his head and wiping tears away. So some little thing that was built into you changed somebody's world all this far away, just knowing that they had a connection to something that they loved, which I thought was cool. And then I was able to figure out how to get them the video, which took a little bit of technological wrangling.
We're learning a lot.
We got them the video, then they were able to take it as their video. And it's so what you said, the little greeting and the talking about the different things in the video and just encouraging the patient and hearing that come out of your face and all that was just, I loved watching it. And for me, you've given me a great gift because I get to walk into the room with the surprise in the world. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for telling me that. Like that, I mean, honestly, if that's, I get to stand in a box and do silly voices, and if it means something to somebody, that's a beautiful thing. So thank you.
Well, once in a while, we love it when you step outside your box or back into it. It's either read to us or just come and visit. But yeah, like the difference that you are making just by representing something that people love is so good. So don't stop. You're doing an amazing job.
Keep doing it.
And if you don't block me, I'm going to text you again about doing this again. So,
not yet.
But we keep telling people that because we are the voices for the kids, and we'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So we're just like, we just you need to tell, whoa, stop.
Yeah. But thank you. I know this is you're donating part of your evening here. Yeah. Even though it's a much earlier part of your evening. Everyone else is bedding down now, but you're probably gonna go eat supper, I guess.
Yeah.
But thank you for spending the time today. And I just love these stories. Love that you read them because now they'll be even more special. But we will have you again on real soon because we're gonna have to do Goodnight Tails too real soon.
Okay.
Cool.
And he's got 2 tails, so then it's even like
Well, we should just do 2 every time then because they're always 2. We should
always 2 there are.
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay.
That'd be wonderful. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the families that are watching or the families that'll pull this up afterward?
Oh, just thank you so much for having me and hang in there, everybody. And I love you. Thank you.
We love you too. Well,
have a good
night.
You too.
Good night, Tails.
Good night.
Oh, here we go.